Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with, well, just Mark today. They left me alone on a Wednesday for some reason, but I do have a tremendous co-host that we're going to be introducing here in just a second. We are covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com. Today's show is brought to you by United Piping, serving residential and commercial customers with new installations and repairs. Call today and schedule your oil and gas boiler cleanings at 754-4556. UPI, the best plumbers around. And by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 5 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com, and remember, the party starts at Ruper's. I have the pleasure of being joined in studio today by Tisha Bremner, owner of Insightful Workplace Solutions, and she's also going to be co-hosting for the top part of the show. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, and thank you for agreeing to help me out this morning.
I'm very agreeable.
It is a heavy workload. And I am so glad you're here to take some of the weight off for me. We are going to learn a lot more about Tisha and her Amplify Impact program coming up in just a bit. But before we get there, let's take a look at some headlines for Wednesday, June 18th.
The Sun Journal reports that the Maine Department of Transportation will install a traffic signal at the intersection of Washington Street, Beach Hill, and Danville Corner roads. The announcement comes after a fatal crash in May. The intersection holds the top spot on a state database that ranks the likelihood of crashes resulting in fatal or serious injuries.
The City of Auburn is closing Garfield Road today to replace a cross culvert near 710 Garfield. The road will be closed at Minot Ave and Perkins Ridge Road. Crews will reopen the roadway once the work is complete. Motorists are encouraged to use Hatch Road as a detour.
The Auburn Fire Department promoted firefighter James Bradley to the rank of lieutenant. Bradley has been with the department since 2014. He has been actively involved in training recruits and serves as the department leader responsible for ladders.
And the Lewiston Fire Department, Andwell Health Partners, and Central Maine Healthcare are offering a free car seat safety inspection tomorrow from 2 to 6 p.m. at 55 North Temple Street. No appointment or pre-registration is necessary. It's time for the weather, Tish, and we do have a weather jingle.
Yes,
I'm not
I
sure.
know.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes, you have more than one.
Our listeners may remember, Tish, from last week's episode involving the Blue Hawaiian.
Which was so much fun.
So much fun. So we're going to play Alex's version today of the weather.
Weather, weather, weather. Weather, 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 weather. Weather, weather is the best. Is the best. Weather, weather, weather.
It's great, right?
I just want to give him a hug. And he doesn't know me all that well, so it's a little awkward.
It could be weird. Right?
Poor
It could
kid.
be weird.
Protect the children. Protect the children. I hold back the hugs. So, cloudy today with a high of 75 and a low of 60. Cloudy tomorrow with some evening showers, high of 79, low of 63. A mixture of clouds and sun on Friday with highs approaching 80, which is fantastic because I'm going paddleboarding.
You going paddleboarding on Friday?
Yeah, I'm taking the kids. Pond's 42, but no, it's not that bad.
Just don't fall in. You'll be fine.
Exactly.
In sports, the Red Sox lost to the Seattle Mariners 8-0. They'll play again this afternoon at 4 with Garrett Crochet on the bump for Boston. You want to take some high school playoffs?
Sure. High school playoffs. Baseball Class D South Regional Final, St. Dom's 4, Richmond 2. In softball Class A North Final, Edward Little 4, Bangor 1. In boys lacrosse Class C semifinal, Marana Cook and Winthrop 14, Oak Hill, Monmouth, Lisbon, St. Dom's 13.
Heck of a game right there.
Yeah.
A lot of schools involved. There you go. That is your news, weather, and sports. Right now, Tish, it is time for the podcast segment that is
sweeping the Twin Cities. You're funny.
It's always great to have a loyal listener on the show.
Thank you.
It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let me ask you this, Tish. Are you familiar with New England singing and songwriting legend Ray LaMontagne?
Yes.
52 years old today.
Oh, it's a nice age.
Yeah.
Good
Not bad.
age.
I remember 52. Those were the days. Those were the days.
I'm still there. So welcome, Ray.
Actress Carol Kane is 73 years old today. She was in the sitcom Taxi
Okay.
with Andy Kaufman. She played Simca Gravis, the wife of Latka. She was also in a bunch of movies in the 70s and 80s. Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. She was in Annie Hall. She was in a horror movie called When a Stranger Calls in 1979. It was terrifying.
I think I led a very sheltered childhood.
You might have.
I don't remember any of those.
So she was babysitting.
Oh, God.
She was babysitting on the first floor of the house, and on the second floor of the house were the kids.
Yeah.
And a phone call came in, and the voice on the other end said, "Have you checked the children?"
Yes, I actually, yes.
Remember
yes,
that?
yes. I don't remember seeing the movie, but I was a babysitter, and I did have an incident when I heard creaking on the back porch, and I freaked out and called the parents, and the kids were upstairs sleeping, so I did run up, obviously, and check on them. I think it was just kind of the weather, you know how houses creak, but first time at that house, so that hits a core wound for me.
Yeah, terrifying.
Core wound.
And then the babysitter called the police to let them know, and they traced the phone call, and they called back, and they said the calls are coming from inside the house. And oh my goodness. And you may have heard of this next birthday boy, Tish. He is none other than 1/4 of the Beatles,
Oh,
Sir Paul McCartney, 83 years old today.
holy cow.
Beatles fan?
Very much. Absolutely.
What's your favorite song? This doesn't count as a random question, by the way. We're still going to have the full
my
compliment.
favorite song, honestly, is this is where I get so
I will give you time to think.
no, it's
okay.
it's the I gotta Google it.
Paul McCartney taught himself how to play piano, guitar, and songwriting as a teenager.
So it's really simple. I thought it. My favorite song by the Beatles is God. And there's a little backstory behind that because they studied with a spiritual leader in India that I did as well. Oh. And so that just very much speaks to really my experience with that philosophy and that approach to life, essentially. And so that song really speaks about the way that the variety of deities in Hinduism support and sustain life.
Yeah.
It speaks very deeply to me. I know.
We need another episode.
With a Blue Hawaiian.
With,
no.
with Hindu Tish coming on.
We could.
Paul McCartney has written or co-written 32 songs that have topped the Billboard Hot 100. That is a record, obviously. I mean, who can compete with Paul McCartney? He has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once as a member of the Beatles in '88 and as a solo artist in '99.
Incredible career.
He has an Academy Award, a Primetime Emmy Award, 19 Grammy Awards, and an appointment as a member of the Order of the British Empire, and an appointment as Knight Bachelor in 1997 for services to music.
Love that.
What a life he has led. Those are your FPBs. Now we're going to take a look at some OTDs. You've heard this song, and I know you love it. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. Right?
I think the pitch is perfect.
You're so kind. Not a very good liar, but you're so kind.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a very good liar. I wear it all on my sleeve.
15 years ago on this day in 2010, Toy Story 3 was released.
What?
You a fan of the Toy Story
Love
movies?
Toy Stories. Yes.
How
Very
can you
good.
not?
Great messaging.
Yep.
All about it.
Yeah, Toy Story 3 was the one where Andy goes to college and the toys, they almost die.
Yeah, well, don't they get donated?
Yeah.
And then they find their way back and
Yeah, but there's a part where they're in this incinerator.
Oh.
About to be. Yeah. Remember they're on the conveyor belt? Do you remember that one? A lot of people have blocked it from their memory because it is so disturbing.
maybe.
25 years ago on this day in the year 2000, Tiger Woods won the U.S. Open for the first time by a record 15 strokes. That is a butt whooping.
Yeah.
He won it again in 2002 and again in 2008. 40 years ago on this day in 1985, Weird Al Yankovic released his third album, Dare to Be Stupid, which featured his Madonna parody, Like a Surgeon, and the Kinks parody, Yoda, based on the song Lola. 42 years ago on this day in 1983, the astronaut Sally Ride became America's first woman in space. The first ever woman in space was a Russian cosmonaut named Valentina Tereshkova, and she did it 20 years prior in 1963. And rounding out OTDs for June the 18th, 58 years ago on this day in 1967, the Jimi Hendrix Experience made their U.S. debut at the Monterey Pop Festival. At the end of his set, Jimmy set his guitar on fire and became an overnight superstar. Have you ever seen that footage?
No.
It's pretty cool.
I'll Google it.
He lays his guitar down on the stage, gets some lighter fluid, douses his guitar, throws a match at it, guitar's on fire, place goes nuts. Jimmy's a legend. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for June the 18th. This year marks 10 years of the Great Falls Brewfest, and we're celebrating in a big way. Join us on June 21st at Samard Payne Memorial Park in Lewiston for live music all day. Over 40 craft breweries, local food trucks, lawn games, and an exclusive art vendor. It's the summer event you don't want to miss, but tickets are going fast. Get yours now at baxterbrewing.com. Great Falls Brewfest, a decade of craft, community, and celebration. Now we shift focus fully to our guest/co-host in studio, Tisha Bremner. She is an MIT-trained professional development consultant and is a nationally board-certified professional coach dedicated to the advancement of essential people skills that businesses need for success and sustainability in today's modern landscape. With over 25 years of experience in healthcare, insurance, higher education, and professional service industries, Tisha helps organizations implement and manage the training and development that improves the stewardship of people, culture, and effectiveness at all levels in a variety of organizations. She is the state steering chair for the Maine Women's Network, board chair for the Androscoggin chapter of the Maine Women's Network, a business partner of Strengthen LA's employer engagement team for economic development, and a member of the 100-plus Women Who Care Androscoggin organization. How in the world do you have time for me this morning, Tish?
Well, I did get two things done before coming in.
Okay.
So I apologize to the couple people who I sent emails to at 6:13 and 6:22. I hope we're still friends.
I hope your phones are on silent. So today we are focusing on Tisha's Amplify Leadership Program, and you've built this Amplify Impact program around a distinctive philosophy. How does it differ from traditional leadership models that we've seen in the past?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for asking. Amplify Impact is about elevating both human potential and organizational outcomes. And what we do is we equip leaders with the mindset and the skills to lead with clarity, connection, and personal accountability. So it's built on the belief that leaders amplify their impact when they cultivate strong relationships, engage in and model emotional intelligence, and foster environments where people feel valued and empowered to do the good work that you've hired them to do. So what sets this program apart from those traditional models is that its emphasis is on the stewardship and intentionality behind being a good leader. It's not just about managing tasks or to-dos. It's about leading people in a way that builds trust, engagement, and resilience. So Amplify Impact teaches leaders how to be consistent, courageous, and people-centered in a modern and really sometimes difficult business landscape, especially when employees expect something different than perhaps, I don't know, Mark, when you and I first entered the workforce. Our expectations.
A few years ago.
One, two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember showing up at work and I didn't expect that I would have a strong sense of purpose or that my manager would actually know something about me and understand what motivates me. So I think people today, it's changed. Society's changed. Expectations have changed.
Absolutely. One size does not fit all. We hear so much, especially nowadays, about disengagement and burnout and quiet quitting. You're punching in and just not really engaged and not really.
Yeah, you're not putting a lot of skin in the game. And
Right.
Gallup reports up to 70% of the workforce is disengaged to some degree.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think it goes hand in hand with being burnt out because you're working on tasks, not on something that's more purposeful.
Right.
And that you feel connected to.
Yeah. So in your experience, what leadership gaps are contributing to these trends and how does Amplify Impact address them?
I think the leadership gaps are just in general, considering people. So considering people, as human, sentient beings who want to be seen, heard, valued, understood, challenged, and appreciated for what they do. And I think sometimes leadership really misses the challenged and appreciated. So, a leader who's not applying the Amplify Impact principles, they're going to just give opportunities or challenging projects or programs to just their top performers and not consider how to develop those people who maybe they're not performing to the optimal degree but have potential. So leaders who are not applying the Amplify Impact principles are missing those employees' developmental opportunities. And that, to me, it's very much a leadership initiative. They have to take it in order to have it happen within organizations. And then you have all players more engaged in the project or the program.
And Amplify Impact emphasizes developing both personal leadership habits and team-centered practices. Why is it so important for leaders to focus on self-leadership before leading others?
Because I think that when we consider leadership, it really starts within each individual person. Their behaviors, their attitudes, the way they treat people. So you can't expect to build trust and manage conflict well or inspire others if you aren't leading yourself first, if you don't understand your why, and if you don't have a positively impact around how. So when leaders lack self-awareness or emotional regulation, it really erodes trust and makes people within teams feel unsafe. And I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling unsafe, I'm not bringing out my creativity, my innovation. I'm not taking smart risks. I'm not giving things my all. So in Amplify Impact, we focus first on intentional self-leaders. Leaders get clear on their values, which is really critical. They develop self-management habits and learn to lead from intention instead of reaction. So that personal work creates the foundation for healthier teams and stronger business results. You amplify your external impact by first mastering what's going on the inside. And if you can't manage your emotions and your responses, you're a hot mess. You're leading, right. What is that show? It's like Hell's Kitchen. You're leading and you're screaming at your workers. That's the recipe for burnout and disengagement.
Yeah, not a very productive environment for sure.
And so I don't see that type of behavior in businesses, but it's more subtle. It's the way that we might minimize or insult or deflate employees because we're not leading ourselves and we can't see the potential in ourselves. So how can we see the potential in someone who's new or developing?
Right.
There's a gap and we miss it.
Yeah. What kind of transformation do you see in the leaders and organizations that go through Amplify Impact? And wondering if you could share an example of how this approach has made a difference.
Yeah, happy to do that. I'll keep it a little bit generic. So one standout example comes to mind, and it's a company where managers were feeling really overwhelmed. Turnover was ticking up, and it was on the higher side. And what I saw as I got into the organization is that the communication was really inconsistent. So we brought brought the managers through the Amplify Impact program, and the leaders started to see where they needed to have better connections and had regular one-on-ones with their staff. It helped them to bring a sense of empathy to their conversations and to feedback that they were providing employees to essentially help them get on the same page. And they started to set really clear expectations. So here's that challenge piece coming in. And then appreciated the positive results as they were unfolding. And so I would say it was about 6 months where we started to feel the engagement levels increase, and some of the scores that we were monitoring at the time began to improve. We saw a lessening of turnover, and the leadership team reported feeling more aligned and confident in handling the development of people, but also some of those tough conversations that you need to have when someone isn't quite getting it. So those tough conversations became more coaching conversations, which I think helped to increase, right, amplify the impact of what leaders were trying to accomplish. So one of the leaders said that the kind of tangible cultural shift that they were experiencing really created an impactful workplace that they felt good about. And so I think Amplify Impact helps leaders to get clarity, to align, and to execute in a way that's more people-centered and positive, rather than being derogatory and using fear as a way to get people to do the thing. Because that's when engagement goes down.
Right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. So fun.
What leadership skills or mindsets are non-negotiable for businesses to thrive in today's unpredictable and people-driven work environment? And how does Amplify Impact equip leaders with those skills?
The skills that are non-negotiable are critical people skills. And so some of those are being self-aware, being emotionally intelligent, learning how to be clear and consistent with your communication, how to hold people appropriately accountable, and how to be adaptable to different people and work environments and all of the things that come up within the organization. All of the to-dos and the tasks. So leaders have to be able to navigate change, manage emotions of themselves and the people that they're working with, and to build environments. This is so critical, of trust, safety, I would say constructive conflict, accountability, commitment, and results within the team. And so Amplify Impact equips leaders with frameworks and practical tools in these areas so they can actually remember how to navigate these people-centered skills. So it's not like creating an abstract theory. It's about learning how to have better conversations, set clearer expectations, manage conflict effectively with care, and to stay grounded, centered, and engage themselves in a really fast-paced, high-pressure environment, which I hear from leaders all of the time. One group I'm working with is talking about how they get so caught up in the day-to-day that they, and reacting in some ways to the business and answering questions, that they're not executing on working in the business. So helping leaders to set healthy boundaries and to use their time in a way that helps them to do that, to execute. So leaders leave the program with actionable strategies that they can immediately amplify their impact on people, performance, and cultures when they learn how to essentially manage their time, set priorities, set healthy boundaries, and communicate it in a way that isn't an authoritarian way, communicate it in a way that gains buy-in from their teams.
You use the term emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means to understand, essentially, to be self-aware enough to understand that everyone has emotions, and maybe you even have a deeper understanding that our emotions come from our past experiences, and those emotions can activate certain parts of ourselves. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And to pause before reacting, to be mindful, to be intentional, to be calm, to be centered, to pause before reacting, and to consider what outcomes and what consequences you want for whatever's happening, and to respond in a way that directs the outcomes with, again, that sense of intentionality. So we can all be reactionary, right?
Right. And learning how to control that can be one of the hardest aspects of your job.
I think it's a hard aspect of life.
True. Right.
I mean, I face it all the time at home where we're like, okay, this is a reaction, and we're going to pause and recenter and ask a question rather than provide a directive or make a request. Mm-hmm. So really consider that people are coming to situations from, their own perspective, and rather than react, to pause, to be calm, to be centered, and to use critical thinking skills to manage through whatever challenge you might be facing. Right. So you're not that hothead manager who literally thinks that every employee is an idiot. I've certainly heard that. And when I hear that, I think, who's
I've
that
worked
about?
For a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is not gonna get you to where you want your business to be thriving, to be healthy, to be profitable, right, and to have people who want to work with you. I think it's like the essential people skills again.
Yeah.
I would say emotional intelligence is the center of those essential people skills.
What do the Amplify Impact sessions look like? Are you meeting with leadership separately? Are you meeting with the entire team together? How does that work?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Thank you so much. It depends on what organizations want. Ideally, what I like to do is offer the sessions. So they're training sessions, workshops where the group gets together and we meet. It depends. It might be a half of a day. It might be a couple of hours over a period of time. There are multiple sections within the program. And then ideally, because not every leader is going to bring to the group meeting their questions and maybe some of their embarrassing moments and challenges, I would offer coaching sessions as well with them privately. So I think those, and as well as homework or, practice guides is what I like to offer. So people don't feel like it's work. They're just putting the principles into practice. So we have sessions, they're workshop style, they're interactive, people learn the content and the frameworks, and then they apply them within the workplace. Sometimes organizations will want to pair up for peer-to-peer support and offer a buddy system, if you will, or practice partners is actually the term that I typically use. And then the one-on-one coaching comes after that, so that you can get into the real and raw situations. Because as we learn and grow, we make mistakes. I make mistakes. And it's mostly around, like, who's your favorite artist? I don't know.
Tish is a recurring guest on the show, and she just stresses out over 3 random questions, which are coming up in mere minutes, by the way.
Yes. I'm a recurring guest because Mark and I are best friends.
That's right.
We haven't established it yet, but it's happening. We're besties. He's going to help me. He might answer for me.
Anything else about the Amplify Impact program that you would like our listeners to know?
Yeah, I would say if you're having any difficulty attracting, engaging, or retaining your staff, give me a shout and let's talk about developing a strategy that will help you align your business to attracting the type of people who are great fits, and to help your managers and leaders develop those people and retain the talent that it's so hard to find in this workforce today. So definitely give me a call. We have great evidence and very results oriented around these programs. So I'd love to work with you.
Tish, how do folks learn more about these programs and how do they get in touch with you?
I think a great start is to check my website out. So insightfulworkplace.com, or give me a shout on 207-754-0931. I'd be happy to talk with you and develop a customized solution that meets your business needs.
Fantastic. And you can also see Tisha's Pros Who Know segment in the brand new summer issue of LA Metro Magazine, and it's on page 30 if you would like to learn more about that as well.
Ooh la la.
Have you
Thank
seen it yet? It's
Yeah,
right in
yeah,
there.
I have. I
All
have.
right.
I love the magazine. The color is gorgeous.
Yeah.
At least the magazine feels like summer, even though today may not.
We're due for a couple of good days in July, maybe August. Who knows?
Yes, 2 or 3.
Right.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Next year marks 30 years of Uncle Andy's Digest. What started as a beloved print publication has grown into Lydia Media, a full-service marketing partner helping local businesses thrive. From LA Metro Magazine and the Lydia's Lunch Bunch podcast to social media management, website design, and advertising across all platforms, we've got your marketing needs covered. If you're a business making a difference in our community, let's connect. Lydia Media is here to tell your story and help you grow. Lydia Media, in business, for business. Learn more at lydiamediallc.com.
All right, Tish, now it is time for your favorite part of the show.
Yes.
It is time for 3 random questions.
I'm ready, Mark.
Okay. I know you've been studying. I know you've been looking forward to this. So we'll start you off with an easy one. What is a minor inconvenience that drives you crazy?
A minor inconvenience, honestly, is when my kitchen is a mess. And my threshold for a mess is very low. So, I want the dishes put away and the counters wiped up. So, the most minor inconvenience is crumbs on the counter.
You're not having it. That's how you get ants. Right?
It's unnecessary. There's a kitchen cloth. It's always available. There's a stack of clean kitchen cloths. A little bit of water, a little bit of spray. Don't even spray the thing. Wipe the crumbs.
Just get it off the counter.
Yes.
Yeah.
That probably tells you a lot.
You... Pretty easy question for you.
Yeah,
Right?
clean up after yourself.
Yeah. That was a softball. Right.
You know, I got hit in the face with a softball. Yeah, 3 weeks black eye. Not recently. This was back in my Unum days. Luckily, it was on the Unum team.
Oh,
And so people didn't think that I got punched in the face. They knew. My coworkers, when I went in the next day, were expecting a black eye, and they got the black eye.
all right. I need to set the scene. What happened?
So I was playing in the outfield behind second base. It was a co-ed team. I am not a skilled sports person. Great at yoga, great at paddleboard, great at cycling, all individual sports, right? But coordination, lots of opportunity with coordination. And I was the person that everyone knew, if you hit the ball in my direction, it was going in the woods. And I was tired of that. And I'm also scared of the ball. So I put my glove up, and the ball bounces behind second base, and it's coming at me. I close my eyes. Oh, no. The ball hits the top of my glove and then the underside of my left eye. And literally, I fall over. It has that much trajectory and force behind it. I was stunned. So I'm still afraid of the ball. And I should share with you that my granddaughter, when she was 10, now she has a rocket of an arm. It was dusk and we were out. She wanted to play catch, and she throws the ball at me, and I duck and scream because I'm scared.
Sure. Yeah.
She crouches down and just about pees her pants. She's laughing so much, and then runs in and tells my husband, I scared Memmy with the ball. I can't play catch with her. She can't catch the ball. Like she was practicing pitching. So, yeah, that was the end of my career.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Great story, by the way. You're a fantastic storyteller.
These are memorable moments
Right.
that last with you.
Core memories.
Yes,
right?
core memories. Exactly.
As a music fan, I would like you to create your dream concert. Mm-hmm. You have 3 bands or performers,
Okay.
past, present, or future. What is Tish Bremner's dream concert?
This is going to date me a little bit.
It's okay.
I have never seen Cher perform.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not true. I have seen her perform one time. Forgive me. All right. I'm misremembering that. I would say I would love to see Michael Jackson if we could bring him back because I've never seen him. I would love to see Madonna. Maybe in her younger years, can we do a little?
We certainly can. Are you talking 80s Madonna?
Yeah, 80s Madonna,
Okay.
90s Madonna,
Yep.
and Prince.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Now that begs the question, who's headlining?
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah.
I'd buy tickets to that.
You would?
I would.
All right.
Yeah, sounds awesome. I didn't know you've done so much traveling in your life.
Oh, yeah.
So I am curious to know if you had to decide to live anywhere outside of the United States. Where would you go?
Oh my gosh. First comes to mind Italy, in a small town. I love Italy. My husband and I were there last summer. We did a fun tour of Venice, Florence, and Rome. And I would say probably 8 years ago I was there and I did a cycling trip through Tuscany. Any of those little villages. And I actually do. I think about this sometimes, how wonderful it might be to be in a small home, like a little cottage, and to walk every day and get fresh bread and meats and vegetables and fruit, and to not be so dependent on, I would say, commercial and central stores, but to have a very, very simple life. I do fantasize about that. So Italy comes to the mind first. I also have a friend who is living in Portugal right now. Although I've never been to Portugal, I think that might be a fun thing. And so occasionally, when I get a little disenchanted about what's happening in our world today, I think, okay, let's move to Europe.
Right.
And I say things like, in my next life, my husband and I are not having children so that we will. We're going to travel and move to other parts of the world and just have a different experience. So I love my daughter and my grandchildren. I will meet you in the next life, and we will be friends. I have no obligation to you. I love my parents too, but you're going to fend for yourselves. That's what I think.
All right.
That's an aspect of self-leadership. Figure it out yourself.
That's right.
And I believe that is a core belief.
We've come full circle. I love it.
And when you figure it out for yourself, you're a great leader.
Yeah,
Right? When you're fully responsible and accountable.
that's right. Leave your family behind.
Love you. Peace out. Come visit.
Exactly. Yeah, and not for too long, right?
Oh, no. I do like that. I mean, they could come for 6 months. I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah, but in our next life, let's have a different relationship. Be with me. Well, let's be together, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a bohemian side to my personality.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every time you come on here, I learn so much about you. It's,
My husband and I we fantasized. He took me to look at a camper last week, and because he wanted to see if I could live in a camper for a period of time. And I'm like, yeah, I think I could. Let's sell everything and, live in different parts of the country. It's beautiful. Yeah. Even in the U.S., it's a beautiful country.
Sure is. Just no crumbs on the counter, even in the
no crumbs on the
even in the camper, right?
Yeah. And if we're in a camper, the floor needs to be clean. Take your shoes off.
Right.
No pebbles on the floor. No crumbs on the counter.
Yeah.
Just clean space, free and easy, bohemian life.
Sounds awesome.
I'm the type of person, I don't need a radio. I'm very busy, but I don't need to be around crowds. I want to be in nature. I want to cycle. I want to paddle. I want to hike. I want to be with one or two people who I can have an in-depth conversation with.
Yep. And
so that, I don't know, that's my inspiration for my next life.
Love it. So much fun.
So doing a 180, because my life right now is so filled with people.
Right.
And I love it. I'm
You
appreciating
need a break
it.
sometimes, right?
Sure.
You just need a break. Thanks so much for joining us today.
So much fun. Thank you.
So much fun. Always is. Thank you so much. She is Tisha Bremner. If you would like to learn more about the Amplify Impact program, look her up on insightfulworkplace.com. We want to thank our sponsors for today, Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and United Piping. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day and
remember, don't bite your cat. And I will say I have bitten my cat.